You're listening to the Limitless Broadcasting Network.
All it takes is faith and trust. Oh, and something I forgot. Dust. Just a little bit of pixie dust.
I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Turn to page 394.
Of course it's happening inside your head, Harry. Why should that mean that it's not real?
Welcome, Pixie Nesters. We're your favorite hosts. I'm Sammy.
And I'm Ashley. Welcome to the Pixie Dust Twins podcast featuring Dan.
What up?
And produced by Limitless Broadcasting.
Don't forget to check out all of our social media after the show: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Yes. All right. We are on book 2. Chamber of Secrets.
Yes.
I don't know why I did that.
That
Anywho,
was very dramatic.
Devious
Again,
knitting.
So I want to preface to everyone, I did not get to finish the Chamber of Secrets. I've had a lot of stuff going on in my work, personal life, that when I get home, I just can't, I can barely look at a TV screen or a book. I just fall asleep. I've been extremely tired. I've been overworked. So I only got through half of the book. And the rest of the stuff I got off of a couple websites. I got off of Screen Rants. I got off of a Harry Potter fandom website. And then of course I kind of skimmed through the book. So hopefully everything is correct. If anything is wrong, hopefully Sammy or Dan can correct me, or you guys can correct us in our social media pages. But I tried to be as accurate as possible. So I apologize ahead of time. But let's get started.
All right.
So this is the book, as you all know, we bring Dobby into the picture. And at the very beginning, I forgot that number one, it wasn't a cake, it was pudding. And number two, the pudding was not dropped on Miss Mason. It was actually dropped on Harry in the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Miss Mason actually, in my mind, would have made more sense for him to get in trouble.
Right.
I know, and it's funnier. So yeah.
Also not in the movie is he actually gets his first magic warning letter in this book. In the movies, we don't see it till 3.
I thought so, because I was watching the movie. I was like, wait, doesn't he get a first, like, doesn't he accidentally get a warning or something? And like, I remember it's somewhere in Chamber of Secrets. So it was a book.
Yeah, but it was only in the book. And Vernon did not know that he couldn't do magic until he got that letter.
Then he was caught.
Yep. So he was finally caught in the beginning of this book, and that's when he gets the bars on the window and all the different things. But in the book, I forgot about this. So when Fred, George, and Ron come to rescue him, and this is when I really started to love Fred and George, was this book. Is they actually have to get out of the car, go downstairs to the cupboard, and picklock everything, because they actually had all of his trunk, belongings, all of it locked away under the stairs.
Yep.
And Fred and George had to sneak through and muggle pick the locks. And they knew how to do it.
They
which
sure
I found
did.
Hilarious that they knew how to do that.
Yes.
Which made me love them even more. And then actually, as they're leaving, Harry mentions Dobby in the car, and Fred and George actually say, "I betcha that's Malfoy's untrustworthy servant." Like, that sounds like a Malfoy thing. So you already kind of in the book know, like, this could be a Malfoy trick. This Malfoys are up to something.
Right.
So, but it's omitted in the film. You don't see it. And then when we get home, I was very disappointed when I read the chapter. Like, I forgot. The speech that Mrs. Weasley does in the book is not the same as in the movie. And I adore the movie speech. Where have you been? Bed's
Mhm.
empty, no notes, cog on. None of that is in the speech. It makes me so sad. And she's like ranting while she's cooking. And I'm just like, okay, this is a rare moment for me, but the book did this better. Or the movie did this better.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And then also, the clock was different in the book. So the clock in the movie has all of the members of the family on there, and it like shows where they are. Actually, in the book, it's only supposed to be one clock hand, and it's supposed to move to what time of the day she's supposed to do things, like when it's time to make tea, when it's time to do laundry, when it's time to whatever. It's not like they changed what the clock is. I kind of like the clock in the book better because it's less like a smartphone. I felt like I feel like they have like magical GPS on their kids with the other clock. So I don't know. That was my own opinion.
To me, that would make more sense though. Like I feel like the magic world would have something like that because she's still a mom.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I liked the movie clock.
I guess. I don't know. I like the other one. The gnomes. Oh my gosh. I totally forgot about the gnomes. Where they have to like drop kick them off
Get
into
rid
the
of them.
field.
Yeah.
Again, more Fred and George, more time with them and their craziness. So seeing just these boys be fun together and they're like, it doesn't hurt them. They're fine. They'll be back next week. Sort of deal, like de-gnoming the garden. It was fun to kind of see them have to do chores around the house to see what like a wizarding family is like before they go to school.
They're those friends you always hope you have in your group.
Yeah.
See? Very much so. How Harry gets lost is actually different in the book than in the movie. In the movie, he like trips over his words and say diagonally. And the book, he actually ends up swallowing like it get the ash, the juice. That's not right. That's later.
You're talking about the flu powder?
Flu powder. Thank you. The flu powder gets in his mouth and he actually ends up swallowing it and sputtering out the words. And that's how he ends up in Borgin and Burke's.
Gotcha.
And then in Borgin and Burke's, they have this as a deleted scene and you can see it.
They sure do.
Yeah. But Draco and Lucius actually come into Borgin and Burke's in the book and do their kind of whole thing. And it's I don't understand why they took it out because I feel like it was a needed scene even for the movie. Like when I was watching the movie on, was it HBO that had the deleted scenes put in, or was it the other one?
No, it was Peacock, I think.
Peacock actually plays them streaming with the deleted scenes. And as I'm watching this and that scene goes through, I'm like, we needed this. We needed to see that Lucius was up to something, that he was still not good. Like this really does open up like the fact that Lucius is just... Now, I know they're like, well, we see this when we go into Flourish and Blotts. It's a little worse than Borgin and Burke's, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I think it was a better setup for the character.
Yep. Big plot hole in the movie. Hermione fixes his glasses in the movie. She's not at Hogwarts. Why is she fixing the glasses and not getting a letter from the magic people?
Ooh.
No, that's a good point.
Mrs. Weasley fixes his glasses.
That's, yeah. Good call.
Yep. And then when they meet Lockhart in the movie, he gets literally all of Lockhart's books. That's actually not how it goes in the book. In the book, he only gets Magical Me for free. And Lockhart actually announces he's going to be a professor for Hogwarts with Harry around his, like with Harry right next to him.
Yeah.
Which is just so annoying. He's the most annoying character.
Truly.
I mean, Umbridge is horrible. Like worst villain in all of time and space.
Right.
But Lockhart is probably the second character that I hate the most. Because he's so annoying and so arrogant.
He gets on my nerves.
I was so happy when he lost his memory.
Super annoying.
I feel like I would have been more annoyed in the book. I forget him in the book, but watching the movie, I was like, I know I'm supposed to be annoyed with you, but you're so amusing. Like, you're so into yourself and having so much fun with it. It's like, I can't say I like him, but I was entertained by him. I enjoyed him.
He annoys me.
He does get on my nerves too.
And then just like in the first movie or the first book the first movie we talked about that we got robbed of a beautiful scene of Harry being sassy with Snape, we got robbed again. Lucius and Arthur actually have a fist fight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why did we not get the fist fight?
I don't know.
That would have been cool.
I don't know.
Than Harry being sassy.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why they cut it out.
Literally, Arthur jumps him and smashes him in the face.
Yeah. Arthur's like, I'm tired of your crap, Lucius.
Why do we not get it?
Oh my
That
God.
would have been good.
I was so furious. I read that. I was just like, okay. I am going to lose my voice from doing these episodes.
Probably.
Moving on. So apparently there was a lot more Colin Creevey in this movie or in this book. So this is the part where I start to get it from other places. A lot more Colin Creevey in this book than what we get in the movie. Lockhart actually gets jealous of Colin keeps asking for Harry's autograph. And Lockhart like kind of lays into Harry about it, like in his nice little like egotistical way.
Yeah.
He just has, it just shows he was so much worse in the book. And I think that's why I don't like him so much, because he's so much worse in the book.
Fair enough.
He's super annoying in the book. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also in this book, we figure out, and I remember this, we figure out that Filch is a squib. Squib?
Yeah.
This is where you have magical parents, but you have no magic, which is just so sad.
Sad.
I remember, so I'm like, oh, now I know why you're so angry.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. I get it. A little bit more sympathy for you, Filch.
Yeah. And he has to spend his entire life around all these kids who gets what he never had.
Yep.
No wonder he hates all these kids.
And the reason he's so mean to Harry, especially in the second book here, is because Harry he picks up the letter and gives it to him, and he has no idea what this means, but like Filch thinks he does, and now he thinks he's gonna tell everyone, and that's why he says that Harry petrified Mrs. Norris and just all the different things. It's just like, oh, I'm sorry, Filch.
That makes me hate him less.
Yep.
I feel bad.
It did.
For him.
I think after the second book, I'm like, okay, I don't hate you anymore.
Yeah.
I just pity you.
Yes. That's a good
Which can be kind of worse.
He's kind of the Gollum / Smeagol in this world.
Yes, he is. He really is. Yeah. Until the fifth book, then I hate him again because
he teams up with Umbridge.
He's besties. Yeah.
Then we have problems. Then we have problems.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, Defense Against Dark Arts class. The chaos in it is actually much worse in the book. Hermione doesn't save the day. They don't even collect the pixies. The pixies take his wand, throw it out the window. They don't like destroy the dragon thing. Longbottom does get put on an iron chandelier thing, but they actually have bells in Harry Potter. I forgot about this. The bell rings and everyone runs out the door and the pixies are still creating chaos. So how he got the pixies out, I do not know.
He probably didn't.
Actually, I don't think he did, because I think the pixies like somehow found their way into the room of requirement, because the pixies kind of burst out of a spot later. If you guys remember that.
Kind of.
I can't remember. I think it's when he's looking for, I think it's like book 5 or 6.
Okay.
Books 5 or 6, like or maybe 7, when he's looking for the diadem. The pixies burst out somewhere. I'll mention it when we get there.
Okay.
But I think they end up in the room of requirement, which is a movie plot hole, because they like capture them. So I don't know how they make it to the room of requirement in the movie for them to burst up, and it's just a thing. Anywho, let's see here. He did not hear the snake's voice when he was in detention. There's actually, I don't even think we really go into the detention, if I remember correctly. He's actually at Nick's death party, which is just creepy. But that's when he starts hearing the voices of the snake, is when he's at Sir Nick's death party. And that's why Snape is like, I didn't see him at dinner. It's like, well, I've been seen by 100 ghosts. Like, oh, yes, of course, you were seen by 100 ghosts. But I think you should be suspended from Quidditch. And McGonagall's like, really? No, you just don't want to lose, sort of deal. Like, it was a whole thing between those two, which was great. And then also in the book, Draco never notices the snitch in the Quidditch match. He's literally berating Harry so much that he never sees the snitch, and Harry snatches the snitch from beside him before he can even realize what's going on, which I think is a much more humiliating loss.
Oh, yeah.
I really wish they would have done it that way instead of a.
I remember being
right
very
all over.
satisfied reading that.
Yes. I had Malfoy.
That's what you get, you arrogant little turd.
Exactly.
Yep. And then Fred and George actually attempt to protect Harry from the rogue bludger. Hermione does not destroy it in the book. They actually somehow get it back in its case. So someone's gonna have to take care of it. But yeah, it's not Hermione, it's Fred and George. Let's see here. Oh, the apologies potion. So in the movie, they just kind of grab a book from the library, but actually in the book, it's a restricted section book, and only a professor can sign off on it. And who is okay with signing off on it because he loves signing his name? Hermione got Lockhart to sign it, and that's how they got the book.
Yeah.
Also, with the apologies potion, if you think about the movie, they don't show how they get the ingredients for the apologies potion. So later on in book 4, when Snape is accusing Harry of like his friends of stealing stuff, you're kind of, if you only watch the movies, you're kind of confused. You're like, he never stole. What's going on? Yeah. In the book, they actually make a ruckus so someone can steal the stuff from Snape for the apologies potion. So that's why he accuses them later, because they did steal from him. Yep. But that was omitted, which was dumb.
Yeah.
I think that would have been fun to see them cause a ruckus in potions class.
Surely.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be amazing. Let's see here. Also, something that I noticed in the movies is that the movies have multiple houses together, more than 2. And in the books, there's very specific that it's like 2 houses have classes together and 2 houses have the other class together. Like they don't have all 4 houses in mix. And Chamber of Secrets, they were doing that. They were mixing Hufflepuff, Slytherin, and Gryffindor in all the classes, which made no sense. Because where's the Ravenclaws? Number 1, and number 2, are they just off on their own? Are the Ravenclaws so annoyed with everyone? They're like, we will go to class by ourselves.
Probably.
Because you idiots are dumb.
Exactly. We would prefer to be alone. Thank you.
Yeah. Y'all are the Gen X of Hogwarts.
Get out of my face.
Oh my gosh, that makes sense. You are the Gen X of Hogwarts.
Fair.
Huh.
No.
Okay, so when they are doing the duel, so the dueling club. So number 1, the dueling club, there was more than just like, they didn't, in the book, it was everyone had a partner and they were dueling together. It wasn't just Harry and Ron, or Harry and
Draco.
And,
Draco.
Thank you. Doing this.
Yep.
Yeah, even I heard that one.
It's storming.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. Okay. But did you know, rectum, what is
rectum?
Spell? Rectum sempra.
No.
Secrum.
No, it's not that spell.
What is that's the spelling? I just don't know.
You said the rectum like 5 times just now. So.
This is not going well. Okay, it's
Rectu.
No.
Is that what it is?
No, Rictu Sempra.
Rictu Sempra? I'm trying to think of how
I can't remember how you said it. I'm sorry.
When he says it, it sounds like rectum. I'm just gonna say it.
There we go.
But anyways, like it was used as a, like, Draco did some flips. It's actually supposed to be for uncontrollable tickling.
Oh.
Okay.
And there were some things like that where they made the spells a little bit more intense in the movie, and where they were actually supposed to be whatever.
Yeah.
In the book. So there's that. And then the first time we see a petrified person, so nearly headless Nick, and I don't know why they changed this in the movie. So petrified Nick is actually supposed to be floating horizontal, and he's supposed to be black to show that something is wrong. In the movie, they kept him floating upright and white. It's like, no, this is supposed to be scary. So I don't know why you didn't do this. So I don't know.
Mm-mm.
Let's see here. in the book, Hermione does not, or in the book, the boys do not steal the robes off of Crabbe and Goyle, which I always thought was a weird thing for them to do in the movie. Hermione actually steals bigger robes from the laundry because in the books, all the robes are plain black and have no house colors.
Okay.
The movies added the house colors so people can differentiate.
Yeah. Figure out who's who.
Also, another thing, Binns, who we talked about a couple episodes ago about being the history and magic professor, the ghost who just comes in, lectures, and leaves, for the first time ever, looks up and there's a hand in the audience, and it's Hermione. Yes. And she interrupted him for the first time ever in his probably history of teaching. And he's actually the one who told the story about the Chamber of Secrets, which makes more sense because Binns was probably there when the chamber was made.
Oh, most definitely he was. Certainly.
We also do not see that Penelope Clearwater is a victim of the basilisk in the film, but it is shown in the movie because Percy is distraught with her. And then in the journal vision, Harry only actually sees Headmaster Tibbet when talking to Tom Riddle, not Dumbledore. I understand why they did the change. They would have had to do, I mean, people would have probably been confused in
the like who's this?
But it's just a little thing. And then apparently there were a lot more foreshadowing moments of Ginny being the person who opened the chamber. But the movie actually took a lot of them out. There was a couple in the movie, but not to the extent that the book had. Let's see here. Oh, the book mentions that the crowing of roosters is fatal to basilisk later on when we find out it's a basilisk. And that explains why all of Hagrid's roosters are killed in the book, but they don't touch that in the movie. Let's see here. Oh, in the book, Ron apparently he's only a little bit more, he's only reluctant to look for the spiders. He's not petrified like in the movie. They like over exaggerated it in the movie. And they actually get taken by spiders. Like the spiders kind of find them and grab them and take them to Aragon.
Gotcha.
They don't actually walk in, which in my mind is a lot scarier. And I'm very, very happy they did it the way they did it in the movie.
Yeah, I had enough of the spiders as it was. So
too many spiders.
And
then apparently this, nope, I already said that. And then when they finally get to the chamber itself, the snake is only supposed to be 20 feet long, not 60, like they said in the movie. And then also in the book, the entrance to the chamber where Ginny was consisted of a solid wall on which two intertwined serpents are carved, their eyes set with great glittering emeralds. And when Harry speaks Parseltongue to open the entrance, the serpents part. Sorry, I'm about to hiccup. Let's see here. Where was I? The walls crack open and the halves slide smoothly out of sight. So it's not that circle thing that we have in the movie. It's like a wall. Let's see here. And then actually the fight against the basilisk in the book is much, much shorter and much, much cleaner. They don't run through the drains. He doesn't climb up a statue. It's very, very short and sweet. Let's see here. And actually Fawkes uses his tears to heal Harry before Riddle is killed. He doesn't stab the book until after Riddle is killed. Yeah. And then also what they don't show is Gryffindor won the House Cup again. Wow, I spelled Gryffindor wrong. Oh well. And then Hermione actually hugs both boys in the book.
I know why she doesn't in the movie. I know why she doesn't. I read that.
There's actually a reason?
Yes. So little Emma was super embarrassed on set and having a difficult time with hugging both of them. So because she was 12 and it was awkward and there's like 10,000 people on movie sets staring at you doing this thing. And so they settled to let her hug Harry and then just awkwardly kind of not do it with Ron, which kind of set up for them later in life. So, it kind of worked out. But that's why it was really an Emma Watson thing, not a Hermione thing.
Gotcha.
Interesting. I remember she does that a couple times in the book, like hugs both of them.
Yeah.
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 Or like
all right, that's all I got for the books.
Yay.
Woo. I was just thinking too with that the rooster thing too. There is also a deleted scene where Hagrid's like walking around with one of the dead ones.
Yeah.
And he kind of mentions it to Harry, so it doesn't really tie into Ginny specifically, but he does bring that up. And then I know I don't think I have it anywhere, but with the foreshadowing in the movie that they specifically do with the Malfoy tie-in is when Lucius takes the book from Ginny's cauldron. When he puts it back, he clearly puts 2 back. So if you notice that, you would kind of pick up on the fact,
Yeah. Well, and the first time you watch the movie, you probably don't realize what it is until much later. But
yeah, when you rewatch it, you can catch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so movie stuffs. So again, this was rated PG. It's kids, family, fantasy, adventure genre. Director Chris Columbus has returned for the last time. Producer is David Heyman. Writer Steve Kloves and J.K. Rowling. This movie came out November 15th, 2002, and its box office gross in the USA was $262 million. So it actually made less than the last movie. And its runtime is 2 hours and 41 minutes. I believe this is the longest Harry Potter movie that we will be discussing. Because the last one is 2, so we won't, count that as one giant movie. But
I thought this was a bit longer than the others.
Yes, this is, for whatever reason, the longest one.
This does not feel that long.
Yeah.
It does to me. This one feels like it drags out a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it's good. It's just like there are a couple of moments where I'm just like, all right,
I literally used to watch this one on repeat.
But we grew up with it, so that's probably why we're just like, yeah, this is great. Yeah. There's a difference.
I would be playing the Hogwarts PC game, and we had a TV in our office, and I'd have Chamber of Secrets. It was during the summer. Chamber of Secrets on DVD, and just rolling it.
Just playing it.
Just playing it.
That's so funny. All right, so this one has an 82% rating from critics on Rotten Tomatoes, an 80% audience score, and a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb. So just go down a little bit from the last movie. Actors we won't go over, but this is our first appearance of Arthur Weasley, so I thought that was important to mention. Mark Williams pops in, and our first Lucius Malfoy, Jason Isaacs, pops up too.
So such a good choice for both.
Yeah, I agree. I think the casting was great. Let's see. Okay, so since Dan apparently has a thing for Moaning Myrtle, Shirley Henderson.
I feel a spiritual connection.
Well, Shirley Henderson is the oldest actress. She was 37 to play a Hogwarts student, and she is Moaning Myrtle, the dead Moaning Myrtle. So
love her.
There you go. She does certainly not look that old.
No, she doesn't.
CGI. Because I've seen her in actual stuff, and she does look that old.
Well, there you go. And unfortunately, according to J.K. Rowling, Moaning Myrtle was a member of Ravenclaw. So, as much as it pains me to admit that, I just thought I would say that.
She's one of you.
I don't know why.
Bit of a know-it-all.
She's so annoying. God.
She's existential and she's angsty and she thinks about death all the time. I understand her.
She is pretty funny, though. I will give you that.
Yeah, she's good at ranting. She gets angry. She got anger issues.
She is. That's true. Sadly, this is the final Harry Potter film to feature Richard Harris as our Professor Albus Dumbledore. He died of Hodgkin's disease a few weeks before this movie's American release. And both this movie and The Prisoner of Azkaban are dedicated to his memory. So sad. Yeah. So Hugh Grant was originally cast as Gilderoy Lockhart, but he was forced to withdraw at the last moment because of scheduling conflicts with 2 weeks' notice.
That's too bad. He would.
I like this guy. Yeah, but I like this guy better. More Gilderoy.
Fair enough.
I could see. I don't know. I could see both.
More cheeky. The new guy's more cheeky.
The new guy's more cheeky.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Because I love Hugh. It would be very hard to hate Hugh or like be annoyed at Hugh.
He would have been too charming.
I'd be like, oh, you're so
that's
cute.
fair. Yeah, Hugh is very charming as an actor. So that's.
I mean, the girls are supposed to be charmed by Gilderoy,
right,
and the boys are supposed to be annoyed.
True. Freaking Gilderoy. Young Hagrid was played by Martin Bayfield, who stood in for Robbie Coltrane as his height double in all of the other Potter movies, as we said, but his voice was still dubbed by Robbie, obviously.
Obviously.
And during the shoot, the part of Dobby was played by a ball on a stick.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, CGI, so obviously he wasn't really there. Yeah, makes sense. So apparently there was a podcast in 2002 that talked about the movie release, and they were claiming that Russian President Vladimir Putin was deeply disturbed and offended that Dobby the house elf seemed to have been created in his image. And they do kind of look alike if you look at them.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, if I didn't see it until you mentioned it just now.
I'm
but
sorry your mother, I'm
mean-
sorry your father or mother mated with an elf.
I don't. I feel like it's one of those like he saw what he wanted to see.
Probably.
I
it's
don't see
pretty
it
funny.
personally, but I could. Yeah, I see
It's
it
pretty
now.
funny.
But
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it either, and then that just made me laugh when I read
Yeah.
that. So, as we mentioned last time, director Chris Columbus actually has his 4 children appear in this film. So, Eleanor plays Susan Bones, and in the last one. And you can see her getting her house placement. As we said, she's a Hufflepuff. Violet plays a girl with flowers in one of the Hogwarts moving picture frames in the
Which
first
one that
2
is?
movies. Isabella plays a girl at the bookstore when Lockhart is introduced. And Brendan is in the study hall. So he put his kids in all of them. They're one of the few American actors in these movies.
there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't
Makes
know there were
sense.
any American actors in this movie.
Yeah, I guess they got allowed in because of Chris Columbus, because otherwise they're like all British.
Well, thanks for thinking of us.
Yeah. So there you go. There's a couple of us hanging out in the movies.
We're in the background, whatever.
Whatever.
It's kind of there.
Exactly. All right, so we got some movie magic trivia. So there were 14 Ford Anglias that were destroyed to create the scene where Harry and Ron crash into the Whomping Willow. I was like, that's a lot, 14. Chris Columbus, who is the executive producer and director, instructed cinematographer Roger Pratt to bring a darker look to the movie, reflecting the darker tone of the story. So all of the all of the sets were lit with more subdued lighting, and the color palette was desaturated a bit. And then it continued as we keep talking about these. Each movie gets darker and desaturated as we go along. So this is the first one they did it in. I couldn't remember if they did it this early, so they did.
Well, I mean, you're working with or you're Voldemort technically is in this movie. Technically.
Yeah, his little weird memory
Should be a little dark.
Horcrux thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. They used full-size models to replace the cast members in scenes where the characters have been petrified. So they literally made entire models of these people.
They looked like models.
Yeah, to me, they looked like dummies too, but
Yeah, like dummy something. Yeah.
Still pretty cool that they made them though. Yeah. J.K. Rowling actually created a guide to teach the cast members how to speak Parcel Tongue.
Okay.
Like that was a little much, but okay. All right.
Well,
And
what's his face created a whole Elvish language, and so
That's
did
fair.
what's his face for
Vulcan,
Klingon.
that's fair.
Like,
So why not create a whole thing for Parcel
not?
Tongue? Yeah, why not?
not?
Mhm.
Why not?
In order to create a realistic image of the floating set of needles that are knitting in the burrow, one of the crew coerced his mother to let them film her for several hours as she did her own knitting. And I just thought that was cute.
Oh,
They're just like, let me film you so I can get this right. And Lucius and Harry's exchange just before Lucius leaves Dumbledore's office was not in the script, but completely improvised by the actors on the spot. Jason Isaacs thought he should say something, and Chris Columbus told him to try it. So Isaacs quipped, "Let's hope that Mr. Potter will always be around to save the day." And Daniel Radcliffe immediately replied, "Don't worry, I will be." And then ended up in the movie and the trailer. So that was improvised on the day.
That was a very hairy thing to say.
Yeah,
in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I think it's great they played off of each other like that. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Tom Felton actually forgot his line when Draco sees Harry disguised as Goyle, so he improvised, "I didn't know you could read." That's pretty funny.
I remember learning that.
And that also obviously made the final cut, so that was
Didn't know
pretty
you
funny.
could read.
Jason Isaacs actually had the idea for Lucius Malfoy to have the long blonde hair, as well as carrying a walking stick where he would conceal his wand. He actually grew attached to the stick and tried to take it off set, but he was caught. So did not work for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so And because of the wig that he had to wear, to keep the hair from falling in front of his face, Isaacs actually had to keep his head tilted back, which further added to the snobbishness of the character, making him look down his nose at everyone. So that was actually to kind of keep the hair back, but it also worked for the character, you know. And then I didn't put it in here, but there was one other thing I know I had read and seen. There's like a bit too at the end of the movie when they're leaving, and Lucius kicks Dobby down the stairs when they're leaving. So that wasn't in the script either. So he just improvised that when he was walking out. And so, you know, he does this little kick, but there's no one there.
Nothing there.
So, you know, Chris Columbus, whoever on set, they're just like, what was that? What were you doing there? And he's like, oh, I kicked Dobby. So then they added that in. You know, he's just like, I thought he would kick him. So he added the little thing. So it was another thing that he did. I just love that Isaacs was so into this character. I think it's
he
awesome.
was.
He really did such a good job.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell. You could really tell. So during the Quidditch match, here's some more fun facts. Some of the John Williams music used while Harry and Draco chased the Golden Snitch was used during the speeder chase scene in Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
I need to rewatch this. I've never noticed that.
Yeah, they used some of the same music as Attack of the Clones during the Golden Snitch chase scene.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to listen to that.
I forgot to go back and rewatch this. I'm gonna be honest with you. And this makes sense because if I remember right, John Williams is kind of like not available so much for this. And I don't remember if I have this fact somewhere. So they were kind of reusing some of the music in this movie because he was doing other things. Because he's a very
he didn't return until like movie 3 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah, because he's very busy, you know.
Right.
Everyone wants John Williams music, so.
Star Wars, Indiana Jones.
So they reused some of it. Yeah.
John Williams.
Yeah, exactly. During an interview with Rupert, he revealed that the slugs he coughed up were fake. Obviously, they were fake. But they had different flavored slime, and he said they tasted quite good. So there's a disgusting fact for you. They tasted
That's good to know because that was making me gag watching this.
Well, I always thought the
didn't
first one
taste
was
like garbage.
real. I thought someone said in a behind the scenes that the first one that they kind of like fake got out of his mouth was like the first one we see come out was a real slug, and then the rest were candy.
No, they were pretend.
Oh, okay.
No. And I watched a behind the like scenes thing, and it's very clearly not a real slug when it pops out.
Okay.
Yeah. So, which gross. Thank God. It's disgusting. Yeah. So when Harry speaks to Tom Riddle when he's writing in the diary, the handwriting is not actually Daniel Radcliffe's. Chris Columbus didn't think that Radcliffe's handwriting was how Harry would write, so he used an extra's handwriting instead. So,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know who it was, but it was not Daniel Radcliffe. And the set for Flourish and Blots is a redress of the set that served as Ollivander's wand shop in the Sorcerer's Stone. So they just redecorated it for the movie.
Okay.
Which they do a lot. So I'm not totally surprised.
Yeah.
Let's see. And Jason Isaacs actually provided the voice of the basilisk when it's calling to its victims. Chris Columbus thought that Isaacs was so good at doing voiceover work, he asked him to create a creepy sounding voice for the basilisk, considering the book only describes it as like a hissing sound. So that is Jason Isaacs that you hear when you hear the snake.
Wow.
I had no idea. I did not know that.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did a very good job. And here's another fun John Williams fact. So when Harry is healed by Fawkes's tears during the finale, the music echoes that of Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade when the water from the Holy Grail heals Henry Jones Sr.
Okay, tomorrow when I have time, I'm going to be figuring that. Like, I would have never put those two together.
Yeah.
And I love both of those movies.
Yeah, there you go.
Dan's thinking hard.
I am thinking.
I know, I'm giving you all sorts of stuff.
Going back to make those connections.
Ooh. All right, so here's some fun filming stuff. Filming began only 3 days after the release of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, obviously because kids grow very fast. So they needed to get this moving along. Although based on the second shortest book, this is the longest of the movies. So I was right.
Which is weird.
In the UK, this became the first movie to achieve 1 million DVD sales in its first weekend. And this is the only Harry Potter movie to have a post-credit scene. And I don't even remember what it was. I was thinking of saying I was going to double check which scene it was, and I apologize because I forgot. You look it up.
Search while you talk.
Okay, yeah. I was like, oh, I need to double check this. And apparently many Harry Potter fans went to see Scooby-Doo, which was released in 2002, only so they could see the trailer of this movie. And that reminded me of like Star Wars, when people would go to see the movie because they just want to see the trailer for Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they would just leave. Yeah. Same sort of idea. This movie earned over $88 million in the US in its opening weekend, which at the time placed it third in the list of all-time biggest openings behind Spider-Man and Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And this
Showing
is the
Lockhart. It's the Lockhart scene where we see he has no memory and he's in the hospital.
Oh, yes.
I remember
Okay.
now. I've seen it.
Yes, I definitely remember that now. Okay, there you go. That's the deleted or the post-credit scene. This is the first of only 2 films of this series not to receive any Academy Award nominations, and the other was The Order of the Phoenix.
He was whiny in that one too.
Oh, I have things to say when we get there. Oh, here we go. So due to scheduling conflicts, John Williams was not able to deliver a fully elaborated score. So composer William Ross was hired to adapt his material to complete the score. So then that's why we ended up with some of the stuff that we did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The opal necklace, which plays an important part in the Half-Blood Prince, can be briefly glimpsed in a display case in Borgin and Burke's. So there you go. It comes back later. And when Hagrid is escorting Harry out of Nocturne Alley, and again when Lockhart turns to show his other profile to the photographer, you can see hardcover editions of Harry Potter books on the shelves.
Oh, that's funny.
In the background. Cool. I thought that was funny too. And then we talked about this. The guard that confronts Harry and Ron when they fail to get to platform 9 3/4 was the same as the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
The opal necklace. It
Yes.
curses Katie.
Yes. Yeah, that's where it comes back. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, like
go.
my brain had to do
That's why I mentioned it. Yes.
connector.
It's important. Yes, it comes back. And I couldn't really do much for Snape's redemption for my fun little thing. So the best I could do, I Googled this too. I was like, I'm going to find something I can bring up. So the best thing that I could find was that technically Harry Potter learned his signature spell, Expelliarmus, from Snape in the Doom Club. So there you go. That's like
He would have learned Expelliarmus. He was supposed to probably learn it from Defense Against Dark Arts, but they had a crap teacher.
Well, then the good thing Snape was there to teach him it.
Oh, please.
Which he wanted to be. The
Everybody learns that spell.
Anyway,
He did. Yes, Dan is correct.
Everybody learns that spell.
No, I don't believe you.
Whatever. Favorite characters in this movie?
Lord. Okay.
Dan.
Oh, that's me. Okay.
Yes, that's you.
Scrolling down to what I had written. Okay. Yeah, I had to do new ones because I couldn't just repeat what I had did before.
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Dobby, obviously, can't not love Dobby. Lucius Malfoy, he's a fun bad guy. That's it.
Yes.
He's more fun than Voldemort. A lot more fun than Voldemort.
Mm-hmm.
And then Moaning Myrtle. I have a deep spiritual connection with Moaning Myrtle.
So weird.
Don't ask me. Honestly, if you ask me why, I couldn't even tell you. She hangs out in the dark. She hangs out in sewers, and she thinks about death all the time. If look, it goes to real, and we happen to turn into ghosts, that's probably what I'm end up doing. Just haunting a public restroom somewhere. Except I won't be moaning. I'll be singing like Frank Sinatra or something.
Okay, good to know. So,
yeah.
So if Dan goes before us, if you hear singing in the bathroom,
you hear Frank Sinatra
haunting
somewhere.
Then we got Dan haunting the bathroom.
That's it.
Okay.
I really love Fred and George in this one. In the movie and the book, we get to see them in Quidditch. They're saving Harry. We start to see a little bit more of them. Of course, I love the trio in this book. This is probably one of my favorite movies and books, and also is Prisoner of Azkaban. So I'm excited for next week.
Yes.
Yeah, Prisoner of Azkaban, in my opinion, is probably the best book out of the.
Yes, it is literally my favorite. I agree.
Yeah. So the trio, and then I didn't add it on here, but I mean, movie 2, because I didn't like Draco when I was reading the books, but when movie 2 came out, that is when my crush on Draco Malfoy happened. Because that scene when he comes around the corner on the staircase, and that whole scene happens, and he like does the little like eyebrow thing at the end, like see you at school.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I melted as a 12, 13-year-old. I was like, and there's my blonde husband. So that I didn't have a crush on him in the first movie. In the 1st movie, I had a crush on Oliver Wood. Who's played by Sean Biggerstaff.
Fair.
Adorable.
Fair.
He is a lot more attractive in the movie than he is in the book. In the book, he's like a burly whatever.
Yeah.
But Draco book 2 or movie 2 was when I got my crush on Draco.
Yeah, you can see that.
I mean, I'm sure you could fix him. You can make him better. You can.
I don't want to fix him.
Oh, you want him to be evil.
I want
him to be like that? Oh God.
And yet you're going hammer time against Snape.
For real. Thank you, Dan. I am so glad you're here.
Here's the thing. I don't want to fix him because he fixes himself throughout the series.
Not really. He's kind of
he does.
He's kind of a
wimp. He redeems. He has a redemption at the end.
He makes his choice and then he like quaffles about it and he's such a baby. Like, just kill Dumbledore. If you're going to be about it, just be about it, I mean, Come on.
He's a 16-year-old boy. Come on. I'm just kidding.
I love him.
We have the same reaction.
I love him. I love that whole scene.
But
the struggle and all that when we get there.
Even book 7, he has redemption in book 7. He chooses not to tell his aunt that this is Harry. He knows it's Harry. He's not an idiot. Who else would be with Hermione? I don't think he actually has the Snape movie I like Snape in the movies because it's Alan Rickman. But I cannot in consciousness ever really love Snape because of the books. Draco in the books and in the movies actually has redemption.
Snape dies and redeems the entire wizarding world.
So
I need to reread all that in my brain.
Is that what you're saying? You hate him that much, the only way to redeem him is to kill him. You murderous human being.
Wow.
I'll have to think about that one as I go through the rest of the books.
Wow.
I really will have to think about it because
that's dark, Ashley. That's dark for a Gryffindor.
I know. What's wrong with you?
And that's coming from me, a Slytherin.
A Slytherin, exactly. Even a Slytherin's like, what's wrong with you?
Cold.
I'm actually coming from thinking as a writer of like, what would I do with that? I'm not coming at it from a Gryffindor. I'm coming at it as a writer.
Typical Gryffindor answer.
I know, right? Try to distance themselves from their own arrogance is what they do.
Oh, I'm not trying to distance myself from my arrogance. That's my writer arrogance. I don't know. We still have a whole summer.
It's not my Gryffindor arrogance. It's just I'm a writer. That's what it is.
There you go. Such a Gryffindor.
Okay.
They all have to justify themselves. At least we Slytherin, we don't have to justify ourselves. We know we're awesome.
Exactly.
Wasn't it, who was it a couple episodes ago who said we all have a little bit of each house in us? Who was that? Sammy.
Yeah, I clearly lean towards the Slytherins, though. I agree with everything he says.
You sure you didn't specifically request Ravenclaw? Because I feel like the Sword Hat would have put you with us.
I might have.
Yeah, that's actually true.
I might have been like, please put me in Ravenclaw because the Slytherins are just slightly too annoying for me. So I need to be with different people. And definitely keep those Gryffindors away from me. Only little doses at a time.
Funny thing is your best friend is a Gryffindor.
I know, right? Can you believe it? Who knew?
You love me.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, at least she admits it. Okay, anyways.
Where were we at?
Sammy, what's your favorite character?
Oh, my bad.
Who's your favorite character?
So, well, same basically as Dan, except for the weird moaning Myrtle thing. So,
it's not that weird.
Lucius and Dobby.
Well, you've never bonded with an existential crying ghost.
Not personally, no. I will find one and then I'll let you know if I change my opinion about moaning Myrtle.
Wait, hold on. Do you identify with the Gray Lady? Because she does cry. She doesn't wail or moan.
I feel bad though, because the Gray Lady had that whole thing with the Bloody Baron. Like, I feel bad for her.
I don't remember what happened with the Bloody Baron.
Like, he's the reason she died, right? If I'm remembering the story correctly.
We'll
You're
have to look
my
into that.
book person. I'm gonna need you to remember that.
I
by
told you
tomorrow.
I haven't.
I think that's the story. I think that's the story that I think it was the Bloody Baron like killed her, and they were like in a relationship, and it was like dramatic, something like
Whoa.
that. Yeah. Although I guess I should feel bad for Moaning Myrtle because the way she died, that does kind of suck.
Yeah, she died by a snake.
I want to
Literally.
be empathetic towards her. It's just she's so obnoxious. Just little doses of Moaning Myrtle. Maybe then I can tolerate her.
Okay, what's really funny is like, okay, so she was a character in Doctor Who, and I remember her, like, I remember the episode vividly.
Mm-hmm.
Moaning Myrtle is not just a character she put on. Like, I think that voice persona is her real voice. Like, that's how she, or maybe that's just how she acts, but it literally sounded like Moaning Myrtle in a different show.
Could be.
Oh, really?
Could be.
I want to find it. I wonder if I can find an interview to see if that's like actually.
Oh,
her
she
voice.
is. Yeah.
You know, I'll bet it just activates my savior complex because I have a thing for saving people. So maybe I just like she's misunderstood, she's alone, and I'm like, no, I understand you, I get you.
Well, she needs a friend, so you could go hang out with her in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I mean, I do feel bad. They like hang out there and they just pretend she's not there, and I'm just like, that's kind of rude. You know,
I mean,
you guys.
She's a little eccentric, but she's not that bad.
Yeah, and she is helpful sometimes.
Exactly.
As we go down the line.
Yeah.
She can't keep any secrets. She doesn't keep secrets well, but she's helpful.
Well,
yeah.
Gets a little creepy when we get to the fourth movie.
You know what?
Yeah,
she's a
she
lonely ghost. She's a lonely ghost. So
yeah, she's also like in her 40s doing that scene.
Yeah, that's a bit weird to think about.
The big creepy. Anywho, you love Lucius and Dobby.
I do. I love Lucius and Dobby for obvious reasons. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, favorite scenes. Dan.
Okie dokes.
Favorite scene. All right. So favorite scenes. What did I write? Flying to Hogwarts. I forgot how funny that scene was.
Yeah.
Like when they they miss the train and everything, and just everything just goes to absolute crap. I mean, from falling out of the car to almost getting hit by the train to the getting.
I think we found the train.
You found the train. Oops. You know, and then they getting beaten up by the Whomping Willows. Just the whole time, I was cracking up the whole time. I was like, I forgot how fun this scene was. So
Ron, Muggles aren't accustomed to seeing a flying car. Right. Sorry.
So cute.
Which ties into my next favorite scene, the Howler. Oh my god! That again, I laughed even harder during that one.
Ronald
Weasley.
Yes.
Dare you steal that car? I am absolutely disgusted. Your father's not facing an acquirer work, and it's entirely your fault. If you put another toe out of line, we'll bring you straight home. Oh, and Jenny, dear, congratulations on making Gryffindor. Your father and I are so proud.
Such an
I have this whole movie memorized.
Good, because I was trying to remember and I couldn't remember it. So
I have it all memorized.
Yeah,
I love that.
I would watch it on a loop.
I feel that. She's such a mom. She has a complete outburst and then immediately just flips to nurturing.
Oh, congratulations, Jenny.
Every mom has that skill.
That's very true.
Not wrong.
Yep. All right, so moving along. So the Howler, slugs backfiring again, just disgusting, but brilliant. I'm noticing all three of these scenes involve Ron, so that says something about this.
Maybe you like Ron.
Ron, okay, here's the thing. Ron is like the poster child for, he's a little confused, but he got the spirit. Like, that's pretty much just Ron's entire memoir. His entire life story is, he's a little confused, but you got the
That's
spirit.
accurate.
Yeah.
And then, so the last one I put was meeting Tom Riddle. Because then we actually get some, like, backstory and we kind of see, okay.
Oh, yes.
What it's all about.
Yeah.
Parallels between him and Harry and his interactions with Dumbledore. Little nuances, because I noticed, like, Dumbledore asks him, is there something you want to tell me? And Harry, like, really kind of hesitates, like, should I be upfront with him about this? And he decides. Whereas Tom Riddle is just immediately, no, I'm good. Little things where you notice there's two very different characters.
Yep.
So, very true.
Yeah.
I love the Burrow scene. I want to live in the Burrow. I want to live with. I want to be a Weasley. I want to marry. Let me rephrase. I want to marry into the Weasleys. Just the house is just so quaint, and it's how it looks like it's just randomly put together with different parts, and just that's so cute. And just I love the clock. I love how they have just magic randomly going. The Molly and Arthur are like those poster parents. Like Molly does annoy me later on in the series because she gets a little too mommy over Harry, and it annoys me just because I know, like, we know where he's going. He has to be the hero. It's like, Molly, stop trying to hold him back. We have no choice. He has to do this. I get it, but you need to let it go. But I love that whole scene. I love the chamber scene. I think I go back and forth if I like the book or the movie chamber scene better. I kind of like that they gave us a little bit more in the movie with the fight and just the kind of intensity of it. But then I also like how it was cleanly done in the book. I like both. I like both. And I love the Howler. I didn't put it on here because Dan.
But it's pretty funny.
As you can tell, I love the Howler. Oh, and I love the scene where where have you been? Bed's empty. No cause on.
Yes.
You couldn't see. That part. She's like Hermione. It's like the women of the wizarding world. It's like before you get us all killed or worse, expelled. For Mrs. Weasley, it's like you could have died or you could have been seen. Like it was worse to be seen.
Yes.
I love it.
Not that I blame you, Harry.
I know it's always not Harry's
Just
fault.
immediately that flip. How dare you? Not that I blame you.
Oh, not your fault at all, Harry.
He put bars on his window. I'll put bars on your window, Ronald Weasley. Harry, how about a spot of breakfast?
Oh, it's great.
Such a mom.
It really is.
Side note, you mentioned
I kind of already said all my favorite lines. What?
Aside from not having red hair, you do kind of look like a Weasley. I'm just gonna point that out there a little bit.
I do. Is that a good thing? I don't know if
that's a good
thing.
How is that not a good thing? The Weasleys are a good-looking group.
Except for Percy, they have a pretty good stock there.
Yeah.
Well,
I can see like you and you kind of look like Jenny a little bit.
I can see that.
Jenny.
Yeah. Book Jenny.
Book Jenny. Yeah. Book Jenny.
Fair enough.
Movie Jenny kind of annoys me.
A little bit, yeah, but it is what it is, you know.
Oh my gosh, I didn't delete my comments to you, Dan. So Dan and I were on this at the same time last night. So I started typing to him.
I noticed. Yeah, it made me laugh.
He typed to me too, but he deleted his.
Did I? What did I say? I thought I left it there.
No, you didn't. You. Oh wait, no, you actually did.
Yeah.
LOL, we're filling it the last minute. I see. I'm watching one or two. Yeah.
I did see that this morning. It made me laugh. Yeah.
Say me what your favorite scenes.
Okay, so you touched on the Burrow. The only things I would add to what you said is I loved how Ron's kind of embarrassed because they're always like, oh, the Weasleys are poor, whatever. And how Harry's just like, this is the best place I've ever been. Like, I love this. And I just love that little scene with them because it really solidified their friendship and it was really nice.
And it's a home.
It feels so special to him. And Ron's embarrassed, but he realizes, like it's just got so much love in it.
The Burrow is a million times better than that stupid mansion that the Malfoys have.
Yeah, there's a big difference between the families. I agree. It's a big difference. And the other thing I like is when the boys are all supposed to be in trouble with the car. And of course, Arthur is just like, how did it fly? Like, he's just like,
how'd it go?
And then the
Boys,
last,
that was very wrong of you.
I know, right?
Very wrong of you.
It just cracks me up. And then I just love that little last bit before they cut where he's just like, Harry, can you tell me what the purpose of a rubber duck is, or however he words it? And I always just die laughing because it's such a brief little glimpse at Arthur, and in that tiny little snippet we get to see how he is, and you get the perfect vibe for how Arthur is. And I just loved that introduction for him.
He says it with such potency too, like it's the most important complex. What is the point of a rubber duck?
And then he takes a bite of his eggs.
Serious. He's so serious about this rubber duck thing.
And Harry's like, I don't know.
I'm like, I'm not sure how to answer this question. I just love it.
Fun?
Yeah, nothing. I don't know. To look at, I have no idea. There is no purpose.
It's a fruit and a bathtub.
That's about it.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I said anything with Dobby because he's funny. He's messing up his whole life and Harry's whole life, and it's just so hilarious seeing him try and keep Dobby calm, and Dobby beating himself up every 2 seconds and making all that noise, and then at the end it's so lovely to see when they're leaving and he gets the diary and the way he opens it and he's just like, Master has given Dobby a suck. Dobby is free. And I love it. Oh, Dobby, good for you. And I wish we got more Dobby coming up. We will be complaining about that as we go along because there's so much more Dobby in the books than there is in the movies. And it makes me very sad
Especially
because
4.
the way he grows as a character, this little house elf, the way he develops, it's great, but it's fine.
And that's why his death is so much harder for us who have read the books because of what we see throughout the books.
All this, yeah. Yeah.
Even Hedwig. Like, I feel like they cheaped out her death a little bit and how she, like, it felt like it was too quick. Felt they could have done something to, like, just.
It was the worst part, though, about, obviously we'll get into this, but Hedwig's death is there's so much in the books because it's so much about how Harry talks about how he's feeling whenever he thinks about it, the pain. And, you can't see it on the screen.
It's hard to portray it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, favorite lines that we haven't maybe done yet. Dan.
I know, we've done a lot.
We've done a lot.
There were probably more that I could think of, but this is the only one that like came to my mind. It was the funniest in my opinion. But it was of course, young Myrtle, where she goes, "Oh, I was just sitting in the U-bend thinking about death, and it fell through the top of my head." I just thought it was so hilarious.
Oh, my
gosh.
The way they do her voice is like odd ASMR to me. Like I find it oddly relaxing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just the way they kind of oscillate a little bit, so it's kind of like ghostly. But then it's like that kind of like, ooh, just like, oh, you're putting me to sleep.
See, her voice to me is like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, she kind of annoys me a little bit when she talks.
Yeah, I find it oddly calming.
Okay.
Well, we all have our weird.
We all got our quirks.
Yes, we do.
Our quirky attractions.
Yes.
It's not an attraction. I don't like her like that. I just think she's amusing.
Then it sounds like then I'm sorry to tell you, but sometimes it sounds a little like you're like subconsciously attracted to this ghost.
Dan just wants to hang out with her, apparently.
Okay. You have another line on here. It's not the only one you had.
That's true. I mean, look, I like her after Bellatrix and Tonks. Okay, put it that way.
Okay.
Bellatrix is just like mommy to me, but that's a whole other thing.
Oh boy, I can't wait till we get to her. Couple more to go.
I actually got a fun story about that, but yeah, we can get there when we meet her later.
Her second quote.
Anyway, mommy, sorry. Anyway.
Oh boy.
Yeah, keep it PG. Anyway, and so the other quote: "If Hagrid never gets out of Azkaban, I'll kill him."
I love
That's
that quote.
a good one.
It's a good quote.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I couldn't. So I've said my lines. Like the Howler's my favorite. I've already the speech from Mrs. Weasley's my other favorite. But I love that if Hagrid ever gets out of Azkaban, I'll kill him. I love Sammy's. I'm not going to say hers, so she can say it. And then I don't know. There's just a lot of quotable moments in this movie for me that I just kind of love the whole thing.
Yeah.
Valid.
I get you.
Go ahead, Sammy.
So Ron, I feel you. Why spiders? Why couldn't it be follow the butterflies? And I'm with you. I do not watch the spider scene. I avoid it. I can't do it. I do not like spiders, especially giant spiders that talk. No.
Fair enough.
No. So I'm with Ron on that. Even though they embellished it for the movie, I'm like, yep, that's how I feel.
Yep. You have one more, Sammy.
I already did that one.
Oh, okay. I thought
Dobby
you were
is free. No, I already did my Dobby is free.
Sorry, I'm like,
I did it. I did my Dobby is free. I already talked about Dobby.
yeah. Oh, good movie. Good movie. I don't know, there's something about the younger years for them. Maybe because it's not as dark. We don't have to deal with all the other angst of it.
Right.
But it's just, I don't know. I like buildup of characters. I like the times
Mhm.
when we get to see like who they are and how they become who they are, like the Burrow scene and just all this stuff. And I feel like that's what books 1, 2, and even kind of 3 is
Mhm.
like building these characters for us and letting us see who they are before we really have to get into the grit of
Mhm.
Voldemort.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he who must not be named.
Oh, his name is Voldemort. I might as well say it.
Huh?
He's gonna kill you either way. You might as well just say his name.
Fear of the name only increases whenever she
Fear
says
of the thing itself.
fear of the thing itself. Yes. Mhm.
We'll get there eventually,
Yeah.
but one of my favorite lines is when McGonagall finally says it. Like, his name is Voldemort, so you might as well use it.
Yeah, she's just like tired of this crap.
Enough.
Well, and that's after Dumbledore dies. So
Oh,
she
true.
used to not say Voldemort's name.
Mm-hmm.
She would say he who must not be named, and Dumbledore's like, just say it.
Mhm.
Voldemort.
Mhm.
And when, or he mostly calls him Tom. He doesn't even call him Voldemort. He's like,
I
I'm not-
know, which is the
Howard?
most
sees right
insulting
through
thing
him,
he
yeah.
could do. The most
Mhm.
insulting thing to Voldemort is to continuously refer to him as Tom Riddle.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep. It's like you don't think about it like it being an insult, but it's like, no, he's literally like he's like, no, you're not powerful enough for me to call you
Mm-mm.
anything but the fact that
Right.
you were my student, Tom.
Yep. Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That'll be, you shouldn't have come here tonight, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
What movie was that in? Fifth. That's right.
Yes, I was like, when are they facing off?
like,
And I'm
when
like
do they
going through
face
each
off?
movie.
Like I'm going through like my mental.
Yeah,
Have you guys
it's
ever
fun.
seen NCIS
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally.
with Abby? You know Abby? She does a scene where she's like, can't remember this like tattoo. And she's
Mhm.
like, hold on, I gotta she stops and starts doing this and doing this and this and McGee's like, what are you doing? She's like, stop. Like he tried to touch something that she's
Mhm.
rearranging. She's like, stop, I'm trying to rearrange my thoughts. And I feel like that sometimes.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
funny.
like Abby.
Is Abby the
Mhm.
weird goth girl?
Yes.
Okay,
The happy
yeah.
goth.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Who's a forensic scientist. One of my favorite characters.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
NCIS is like one of my favorite TV shows of all time.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
I want Gibbs to be my father. I want to
Mm.
marry Denozo, and I want Abby to be my sister. And Ziva. Ziva's BA. I want her to teach me how to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Telling on myself, I marry Abby.
Oh well,
I would have
assumed
called that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
If
just
you
an
said
assumption.
anything else, I would have been shocked.
I'm like, are you sure? Have you seen Abby?
I feel like, I mean, she sleeps in a coffin. I feel like that's
Which is
kind
pretty
of your
freaking
vibe.
I mean,
hilarious.
that's a bit extreme. Like, coffin's a bit extreme, but
Might be a bit of a tight fit.
yeah.
apparently her and McGee were fine in it. So, you know.
Well, there you go.
True story. Mm-hmm.
There's a scene Gibbs is like, did you sleep in the coffin, McGee? He's like, it was a coffin? You said it was a sofa bed. She's like, well, it kind of is. She's like, well, and we did more than just sleep. And everyone's like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
But we just got off topic.
A lot.
So that is the end of Chamber of Secrets.
Ooh.
It's no
Mhm.
longer a secret.
Mhm.
Basilisk is dead.
It
And so
is.
is Riddle's weird
Horcrux.
teenage self.
Yeah.
Right.
Which we don't know he's a Horcrux yet. Like that's the thing. Like we're all
Mm.
it's funny, like you look back on when I remember reading what Horcruxes are, and you're like, oh, it's a Horcrux.
Makes that
And
connection,
how
yeah.
he makes
Mhm.
the connection. It's that connection of like, she did like people, I don't think people really understand the complexity that this woman went into in these books
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
how good they are and how much like,
Yeah.
yes, there's probably little plot holes here and there, but not to the extent that some authors who create these series that they don't realize it's going to be a series till later and they create these big plot holes.
Mhm.
Like
No, she
She-
really gave it all the thought that she could
he
have.
did.
Yeah.
She
Mhm.
like mapped this sucker.
Mhm.
I think she's up there with Lewis and Tolkien when it comes to how creating a
Mhm.
story. And I know for some people that's blasphemous, but I don't care. She's
Mhm.
up there.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
she will be literally remembered forever for how she crafted these.
I agree.
Well, that's the biggest thing too. It's just making everything. I mean, you can make things as creative and elaborate as you want, but you have to tie it all together and have it actually make some kind of logical sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Yeah.
she understood that.
Yep, she did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Well, next week we are walking into what some people, I think including ourselves, would consider one of the best books and movies of the Harry Potter series, which is the third one, which is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. We get to see a little bit more of James's people and bring in kind of that element. And I don't know, 13-year-old Harry, I feel like he's the least annoying in this one.
He's definitely a lot more mature in this one.
And then he goes through puberty, and then it's just
yeah, it's the fifth one where I really lose my mind with him.
That's what teenagers will do to you.
So many rants. And I lose my mind with Hermione in is it Spew is Goblet?
That's Goblet of Fire.
Goblet, yeah.
I lose my mind with Hermione in the fourth one. I lose my mind with Harry in the fifth one. And then Ron takes me off in the seventh.
Yeah, Ron. Yeah, no, I can see that with Ron.
Well, actually, Ron takes me off in the fourth too.
Oh yeah, he makes me pretty mad in the fourth one too.
He gets all jelly because he thinks that Harry would actually put his name in the Goblet of Fire.
Don't tell me how you did it. Shut up, Ron. What are you doing? Obviously, if he's telling you he didn't do it, he didn't do it.
I really think Ron is just like, he has a jealousy thing because he wants some sort of attention. He wants to find himself. He wants to be separate from his brothers who all have their own thing. And instead he's best friends with the chosen one. And he's in the shadow still. I'm wondering if that affects that to him.
No, I can understand. Like, he kind of always feeling like no matter where he goes, he's a sidekick.
Yeah.
Like that I could see that getting to him. That would get to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think that's why she had him end up with Hermione, which annoys me because I really don't think they should have ended up together.
I like it. I like them.
She originally was going to have Hermione and Harry.
Yeah,
no,
I knew. Yeah,
no. Sorry. No.
Right? That's what
Fred. Her and Fred.
Really? I thought it was Hermione and Harry originally. Like in the early drafts.
It was Fred, right, Sammy?
Yeah, I don't think it was Harry. Later she said she probably should have had her with Harry.
Yes. That's right. She admitted it. Like, maybe I should have had her with Harry. But in the early drafts, she was supposed to end up with Fred, not Ron.
I guess I can
Fred
see it.
Dying.
I can see it.
I think it would have been a better match.
Freaking Ron.
But I also think her and Harry would have been a better match.
I think so.
Better match, but way too predictable.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's like,
fair.
You know.
Yeah.
That's like it's like everyone would have seen it from that's like if Luke and Leia were not brother and sister, then everyone would expect them to get together.
It's
like,
true.
It's that equivalent.
It's true. But if movie Jenny was more like book Jenny, I would have been more okay with her and Harry. But it just movie Jenny and him did not make sense.
There's
she was
just too many.
definitely a lot more, or she was like not as prevalent. She was or prominent, whatever the word is.
Yeah,
she really just seemed to be kind of
either one. Yeah. What would have been interesting is Ron or Harry ending up with Luna.
That would have been interesting.
Because I love Luna.
I love Luna.
That's another reason why I love the next movie. Because we get Luna.
Get Luna.
I love
She's an interesting one. She is an interesting one.
Right? Is it the next movie?
No.
I thought that was I thought that was,
because it come till the fifth one.
Because it's after Harry starts to see the horse things.
Dang it is the fifth one. Oh, I thought she came the next one.
No, poor Looney.
I'm a little sad.
Looney Lovegood doesn't show up yet.
Darn it. But Luna is, I think, because Neville, the movies, they have Neville falling in love with her, but Neville actually doesn't end up with her. There's no relationship. There's nothing. Like, I hate that they added that.
Yeah.
And honestly, Harry with Luna would have been interesting.
I know, especially since they went to Slughorn's party together and they had a good time. So
I really think that would have been a better...
Maybe not better, but like more unlikely to where it would have been more satisfying. It's one of those like, oh, I didn't expect that, but yeah, I get it.
Yes.
Where we could have,
we
could have agreed with it. Yes.
Because I could have seen Neville and Jenny ending up together.
Yeah, I could have seen that too.
I could see that.
Honestly, I could see them together.
Yeah. And then Hermione, if they didn't kill off Fred, or she could have done George, or just not kill off our twins.
Yeah, I could have just left him alone.
Why? That is the one question I need answered. I need that answered. Why did you kill one twin? Why? I mean, I know why. Because of the war and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, I would have just said because it's sadder.
Well, she did give an explanation. She said, so in an interview somewhere, she said, when it came to who was going to die, she's like, I had two choices. I either had to kill off Harry, and he would be the only one who killed off because that would have been the biggest loss. Or if I'm not going to kill off Harry, I have to kill off a lot of people and make it very significant. She's like, it's war, and in war you have loss, and there has to be loss somewhere.
I buy that.
And she, instead of killing off Harry, which honestly, in my own opinion, would have been a better ending. I really truly believe that Harry should have just died. Not just died, but you know, him and both of them gone. Because the fact that now Harry has this PTSD that he has to deal with the rest of his life. And really, he was a pawn in really his whole life. He was a pawn.
Yep.
It would have been more epic in my sad, tragic, but like a tragic epic of him dying. But this book is technically made for younger kids and later, and you normally don't.
Yeah, how dare you tell kids about the facts of life? Oh, God.
Kill off your main character.
You know, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right, because nobody ever dies ever, right?
Yeah.
No.
Stop spoon feeding the kids. That's
well,
my opinion.
Yeah, so in my mind, them dying at the same time, them dying kind of in the same epic battle would have made just a lot more sense. But that's me.
No,
but I don't know if I could have actually done it. Like, I say it, but if I was JK, I don't know if I would actually.
Yeah, when you actually get to that point where you have to kill this character that you've lived with most of your, spent most of your life developing.
Yeah.
From the very beginning. I mean, you've known this character longer than anybody else. I mean, forever is going to be embedded in just the psyche of you and your audience and generations to come.
And this character is you. Like, she put a lot of her in it.
Exactly. Yes.
So like, you really just gonna take them out.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like being JK, I couldn't have done it.
Yeah,
but like coming from like a very, very distant like writer, like looking at the story from the outside in sort of deal, like, oh, it would have made like story wise, it would have been very dramatic and very it still would have been a fulfilling ending if he passed, if she did it right. But yeah, no, killing Harry would have never flown.
Yeah. It would be too hard.
As the person writing it.
Yeah.
But she said she was crying. I heard in an interview she was crying when she was writing the scene.
Yep, I read that too.
Fred.
Yeah, that it was very hard for her.
Yeah, I believe that.
And I also watched the interview of the twins. I know we're getting off topic, but I also watched the interview of the twins of I can't remember which one played which, but one of the twins was talking about like seeing his brother dead on the floor and all the tears and all of it that we see in the scene was real. Like in his mind, like him seeing his brother dead on the floor was real to him. And that was all real emotion. Like his twin had to get up and be like, dude, I'm fine. It's okay.
It's okay.
Like, come here.
Movie.
Like
yeah.
he had to comfort him because it felt so real of the loss.
Wow.
Those are they are tight. Like they do everything together. Like once I fear for when they finally like marry, if they ever do. Their poor wives.
Yeah.
They're just gonna end up getting a duplex together, all just four.
Yep. They can have their own TV show.
Yeah, pretty much. But I gotta go because I got a half an hour before people get here, and I have to, change and actually like be a person, look like a person for Father's Day celebrations. So Pixie Dusters, thank you so much for joining us on the Chamber of Secrets. Be here next week as we dive into the Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm so excited to get to talk about Lupin and
did you forget Sirius Black?
Sirius!
I want to slap you through the computer right now.
I kept wanting to say Severus. I'm like,
Black.
It's not Severus.
Wow.
What is the name?
Oh my goodness.
That's like being a Star Wars fan and saying Han who? Han, what's his name? Oh, I forget
what's
his name.
What's his face? Oh, wow.
Sirius Black.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Bye-bye.
Later.
Lumos.
Thanks for listening to the Pixie Dust Twins podcast featuring Dan. The show is written and produced by Ashley and Sammy, except for those manifestos, which are all written by Dan himself. Intro and audio editing by Sammy, logo created by Ashley. This show is produced as part of the Limitless Broadcasting Network. Make sure you check out all of our other shows and have a magical day.